So what? Yeah, you said it's the last bit of culture, and since I've been traveling, I've seen it in everywhere from Colombia to, New York and LA and Long Beach and Paris and London and Thailand and Japan. What is it about hip hop you think that has allowed it to travel so far and it been embraced by so many different people around the world?
I've been thinking about that very word for some years now, and seeing where it's even like a limit to the potential that this accidental culture has. It's we were talking on Sunday night about why I think it could maybe only have happened in New York, which is one of the real kind of intense friction zones. If it's back in the days was like Wall Street, or I don't know where the WTO is based, but there's a lot of big institutions based in New York. There are a lot of big institutions based in New York, and in a city where, like the city that never sleeps, like a kind of megalopolis with a really intense transport network. Definitely autumn, like with a intense transport network and with a cultural mix of people. The immigrant influx from Puerto Rico, the rest of the Caribbean, like the black communities, and the older European different migrant waves that happened. And it's there that what writing, which is what some people call graffiti, developed in its own right, independently of any of that stuff in from the late 60s onwards. Dance was coming along from another tree. Music was developing along another tangent, and then from the discos and the radio DJs, the rap thing also started to take more precedent than the poetry that it kind of used to be. And I don't know, like somewhere there's this collision of these things that just happened to be there, and we were all very lucky in the rest of the world to benefit from this, because it's almost as if New York gave up its a lot of what it had in this 82, 83 explosion of the culture to the four corners of the planet, because that's when we started to get Malcolm McLaren, Buffalo Girls, Hey You the Rocksteady Crew, then 84 Beat Street came out and all this kind of stuff. Not all of the things, Wild Star came out a bit before, not all of the media around it was the best thing, in retrospect. Some was cheesy and trying to package it for the screen, or stuff was, but somehow this was an irresistible cultural mix that I don't know, everyone got hooked, seriously. I mean, this, and it was also based around geographical kind of meeting points. London was Covent Garden, Paris was Châtelet-Léal, or they used to also meet at the Trocadero. I think different places, different cities in Europe, or maybe Sydney, Melbourne, I don't know, it went more along those kind of better off developed kind of countries first, through media distribution, I guess, and then it kind of trickled down to the other countries in subsequent kind of generations. But it's an irresistible urge to, if you want to express yourself through dance, through visual expression, through writing your name through percussion on the decks or music production as some kind of a composer, or writing poetry or speaking it. So if anyone, who was not into any of the other urban things that were going on along in those days, like there wasn't much. Skateboarding had kind of started, but that's not really my field or my speciality. Bike riding, BMX or whatever, also really not. These were things where you needed money to be able to get the stuff and take part. Whereas dancing, you didn't really need it. Writing, you just steal your material. So I don't know. It was a very democratically spread culture that anyone and everyone could kind of be down with. I guess that's what made it so accessible and so irresistible for many youth across the planet.
Do you think that's a reflection of our human biological capacity to be artists? Like, do you think that the way that hip hop spread like that because of its accessibility just shows that this is who we are as human beings, no matter what country you're from? If it's there, people participate in it and they can grow with it. They can use it to create new realities.
I think how it used to be before was the case of in the jams and everything, is that we tried to I saw it as a chance where we put forward the best ambassadors that the culture, so the best dancers, the best DJs. It's like it was very, very competitive. But it was a level playing field. Of course, it's much more difficult for DJs and stuff like that, where you need to buy the equipment and you need to be really on it for the music and either be able to afford it or be able to steal it and have good connections. But the stores caught on after a while, and the vinyl was not stocked in the racks anymore. It was just the covers. But it was it's not I'm not very keen on this idea of give everyone a chance, because hip hop did, the writing was like just grab a pen, grab a can, whatever, go get out there yourself. It did actually drive people to themselves to go out and do stuff and measure itself up against the others,